Hello everybody, Vic here with another video, and today we're doing a slight departure from horror because I'm going to be ranking the top 10 Arnold Schwarzenegger films of all time. I love me some 80s horror, 90s horror, but also from the 80s and 90s, I love action movies, and Arnold Schwarzenegger for me was the biggest action icon, biggest action hero, had the best action films all throughout the 80s and 90s, so I thought I'd come on here and rank a very difficult top 10 to put together because about 15 movies I want to put in this top 10, but I'm going to try to narrow down the top 10. In the comments, let me know your favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, maybe give me your top 5, how you'd rank them, and of course, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up, the like button, subscribe if you have not. It's mostly a horror channel, but I'm going to be branching out, doing a lot of different genres because I love movies in general, and maybe 80s, 90s action to me is right up there with horror as my favorite genres of all time. So actually, let me begin with some runner-ups because, again, this is a very difficult list to do because about 14, 15 Arnold movies that I rank very highly, but these didn't make the list for me, and I'm sure they made a lot of people's list. This list is going to be very subjective, controversial if you're an Arnold fan, but on the runner-up list, I have Eraser from 1996, which has a great bad guy performance by James Caan. Arnold's still in his prime here. This is probably the last movie of kind of his prime action era, but he's still fantastic here. You have a wonderful, creepy alligator or crocodile sequence, which for me, I'm just like super scared of alligators and crocodiles. They creep me the hell out. So, but fun to see an action movie for sure. So Eraser didn't quite make the list, but I still consider it above average action film for sure. We have also The Sixth Man from circa maybe 2000, 2001, 2002. It is actually, it was sort of, I think after Arnold was no longer sort of a big box office star at this point. His star was starting to fade in terms of the box office a little bit. And you had like End of Days and then Collateral Damage. And I think Sixth Day got lost in the mix, but Sixth Day, it's kind of fits in with his 80s stuff in terms of being like a high concept, almost sci-fi type of action film. It's all about cloning people. Arnold has a clone throughout the film. You have Robert Duvall also giving a good supporting performance. It's a solid, above average, fantastic sci-fi action concept film that fits in with the rest of Arnold's filmography. If you like stuff like Total Recall, The Running Man, you'll get a kick out of The Sixth Man. So give that a chance if you haven't seen it. Okay, now two of the runners up that didn't make my top 10, that people have been blown away didn't make my top 10. First one being Conan the Barbarian. Now, I don't have any nostalgic attachment towards Conan, and I think it's because when I was growing up, at least, I never saw that movie on TV. All of the rest of Arnold's movies always replayed on TV, USA, TBS, TNT, but I don't remember ever seeing Conan on TV, so I had to watch that as an adult, go back and watch Conan and Conan the Destroyer. I didn't really like Conan the Destroyer that much, and Conan the Barbarian is actually, it's very well shot, and like, visually it's fantastic, and the action scenes are good. It's a good film for sure, but I think some of this list, a lot of this list is nostalgia and rewatchability, and I haven't found the rewatchability with the Conan, and I don't have any kind of childhood attachment to it because I didn't really see it as a kid. It was never on TV, so, but I understand Conan is a lot of people's, top 5 Arnold film for sure. Just for me, not high on my list, but I would love to see if they do come back with a new King Conan movie as rumored. I would love to see that. And the final runner-up, and this one also is going to ruffle some feathers, but I have Kindergarten Cop on my runner-up list. The reason is because I like this film a lot, and I understand even for Arnold himself, he said that it might be his favorite film is Kindergarten Cop. But something about like when like action movies where there's like a lot of kid actors and all that stuff, for some reason that just doesn't appeal to me as much. And in terms of his comedies, I just don't think it's my favorite Arnold comedy. I didn't want to fit too many comedies on the list because I feel like his action movies are his bread and butter. So for me, this is his lesser comedy film, Kindergarten Cop. There's still some action in it, but I consider it primarily an action film. And I don't know, something about the kindergarten room setting and all that stuff and all that interaction and the Tuma, all that stuff. It's good, but it's an above average comedy to me, but I don't consider it particularly memorable, and it just doesn't make my top 10. So now, everything in my top 10, let me just establish right now. I like all these movies in my top 10. They're all classic films for me, and the top 5 especially are like really high on my list. But let's go number 10. This is going to be The Running Man, the original Running Man. Changed dramatically from the original Stephen King book for sure. This one's going more popcorn, more fun, as you would with an Arnold 80s film. Arnold originally, when this movie first came out, wasn't super high on this film because, I guess like halfway through the pre-production, they fired the director and brought in a director who had mostly done like TV shows, and Arnold felt like the film wasn't shot well, that it looked kind of more low budget than it had any right to look. I still get a kick out of everything about Running Man. I mean, there's so many good one-liners here. Look, Sub-Zero, now Plane Zero. I don't do reruns or I don't do request. And Killian, I'll be back. And, only in the reruns. Like, there's just good performances abound here. It's a fun concept. And it's just top-notch, peak Arnold, killing people, giving one-liners. I didn't like the new Running Man that much with Glenn Powell. I mean, it's a more serious film for sure, but I actually prefer the cheesy sort of this 80s interpretation of it. To me is on point. So Running Man's got to be up there. Number 9 is Commando, and Commando I think probably is in most people's top 5 for Arnold. And this is sort of the ultimate one man against the army, like the 80s cliche for action films, that you'd have one guy with like one gun that never runs out of bullets. He's being shot by 55 bad guys, not one bullet hitting him, but meanwhile his one gun's taking out the 55 bad guys. That's like the 80s cliche. And this is that personified. This is truly like a one man army, Arnold against the world as Commando. And from the moment that he's, the opening scenes where he's eating ice cream with his daughter, where he's carrying that big ass log of wood on his shoulder, it's just a fun ride. Again, early Arnold, so I think one of the first Arnold films to really establish the one-liners. The great sequence on the plane where he kills the guy and then props up like he's sleeping, holding the guy above the cliff and like, hey, remember when I said I'd let you live? I lied! Like, there's so many good lines here. I get a huge kick out of Commando, 100%. So I'd recommend that highly. Also has a good little fight sequence between Arnold and Bill Duke as well. So, all right, let's go to number 8. And this is going to be True Lies, the James Cameron Arnold collaboration from 1994 with Jamie Lee Curtis, also for many horror fans known as Laurie Strode, probably the biggest thing Jamie Lee Curtis did in her career outside of the Halloween franchise. And maybe A Fish Called Wanda, which is also pretty big. But I think this is a fantastic spy thriller film, and it is mostly, I don't know, it's kind of a mix of like comedy and action for sure, because that first half has an entire storyline about Arnold thinking his wife is cheating on him, getting the bottom of that, and then trying to keep his marriage afloat. And the second half gets into more of the spy thriller action stuff, but it's a fun action film. It's another one of those films that like I didn't rewatch as much growing up, so I don't have the same nostalgic attachment. But I got the 4K version and I watched it a couple years ago, and I was like, oh, this is a top tier Arnold film for sure. So True Lies, number 8. That's in a lot of people's top 5s, which I get completely as well. So number 7, this is maybe one that I think maybe a lot of people don't have in their top 10. And this was probably the choice between this movie and Kindergarten Cop. For me, number 7 is Jingle All the Way. In deciding between this and Kindergarten Cop, I just feel Jingle All the Way kind of transcended normal Christmas comedy into one of those classic Christmas comedies that you can watch every single year and never really get tired of. I showed my niece and nephew Jingle All the Way, which, they don't like a lot of older stuff, but they were into it. They enjoyed it. So I think it has like a timeless quality, Jingle All the Way. And I feel like it's right there for me on the shelf with like Home Alone, It's a Wonderful Life, The Santa Claus. It's one of those like holiday staples that I think that to throw in the DVD player every Christmas season. So for me, Jingle All the Way, that's what elevates it beyond Kindergarten Cop, is that I think as years go by, Jingle All the Way will be one of those movies that families always just turn on during Christmas time. It's a great movie in the background. Like, it's not one you have to necessarily pay attention to and watch in detail, but you're having your holiday dinner or the kids are playing, you throw in the background. You have a great comedic performance by Arnold. Sinbad is great here. Phil Hartman is great. Who could forget the classic line, "Put the cookie down"? Great stuff here from Arnold, so Jingle All the Way has to be on the list there. With number 6, I'm going Last Action Hero, which bombed at the box office back in 1993. I mean, it came out like a week or two before Jurassic Park, and Jurassic Park would bury the hell out of it, which rightfully so. Jurassic Park is definitely a better movie than Last Action Hero. Way more hype for Jurassic Park. But was Last Action Hero, was it misunderstood? Was it ahead of its time? Because it's basically parroting all the Arnold action movies that came before it. There's so many fun one-liners, so many meta moments. Was it too meta for 1993? I don't know. I think the world probably, once they saw it, they know what they were seeing, and they got all the jokes. But It's not a traditional action film for sure, but the best way to take in Last Action Hero is like if you're doing an Arnold marathon is to watch all his previous action films and then use Last Action Hero as a capper, cap it off with that because he's parodying and making fun of everything he just did before that. So it's very meta and self aware for Arnold to do. There's a lot of good cameos, a lot of fun stuff here. The concept of like bringing things out the movie, I mean, the villain had this idea of like, what if I can bring out like the horror villains like Freddy Krueger, stuff like that. There'd be all the kinds of rights issues, but if this movie could have actually brought out like Freddy out the movie theater or the movie screen or some of the other like known villains from back then, that would have been amazing, but too many rights issues, obviously. The one thing brings this film down, I think, a little bit is the kid actor for Last Action Hero kind of annoys me for some reason. I don't know why. Kind of always has like a whiny voice, complaining. Yeah, the kid actor brings it down a little bit. I would have preferred someone else in this role. But beyond that, Last Action Hero, I think is highly rewatchable, highly fun, great action film, great capper to an Arnold marathon for sure. All right, number 5, ending the Arnold comedy era for me. My favorite Arnold comedy is definitely Twins with Arnold and Danny DeVito. Arnold said that based on him giving those one-liners in action films, he had played with the idea of like someone had told him like, hey, I think you can be funny. I think there's like there's a comedic element to you that hasn't really been exposed in films, and from that, they decided to do Twins, which they made a lot of money on because him and Dan DeVito and Ivan Reitman, they said, hey, they told the studio, this is a risk. I haven't done a comedy. We still want to get paid, but why don't we do this? Just give us a percentage of the back end. We'll take no upfront salary. Just give us some of the back end. They took the risk. Movie was a huge hit. So they got a huge percentage of the profit went to them. So it was a gamble that worked out very well. And it's just a very fun movie, a very lighthearted film. It's not a bust a gut type laughing film. There's nothing in the movie that makes you like laugh uncontrollably, but it's just a very pleasant movie. I don't know. Watching Twins puts me in a good mood. Something about the lighting of it, the aesthetics, the interplay between Dan DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger just puts me in a good mood. It's a really feel good film, about family, finding your family, putting your family back together. Great performances by Arnold, Danny DeVito, Kelly Preston. So I was gonna kick out of Twins, and I'm always like, if I want something light and fun, rewatchable, I just turn on Twins. I'm always in a good place. All right, number 4. Let's move on to Total Recall. Now, man, this movie blows my way. This movie blows my mind, blows me away because there's so many things going on here. There's a great action film going on here, but there's a great sci-fi concept going on, and there's a lot of things that like leave you thinking after the film is over because the whole setup of he goes to this place that it's supposed to implant memories into you that you went on vacation. He's there, and then all this shit starts to go down, and we're left wondering throughout the film, is all this really happening, or is he actually, in the dream? And this all like the implanted memories? And the movie like plays both sides. It leaves clues on both sides to where, the audience has to make their own determination. Like, hey, we're not spelling it out for you, but we're giving hints on both sides. So it can be whatever you want. I personally think that he was actually in the dream sequence and he got lobotomized at the end. But there's stuff that you rewatch and you figure it out and you're getting the action sequences. But like I said, there's a lot that leaves your mind wondering. And I've always just liked Total Recall a lot. I haven't actually seen the Colin Farrell one. Maybe I need to give that a chance. Remakes of action films, I'm just like, I don't get it. I mean, maybe like 50, 60 years later, I understand, but 20 years later doing a remake, I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way for some reason, unless special effects advance so much that you could do something completely different and crazy, and I just don't generally see that with even the action remakes, but love Total Recall. Let's go to number 3. This is maybe a little bit controversial. This is probably number 1 on most people's list. For me, that is Terminator 2. I love Terminator 2. I understand why Terminator 2 is on everybody's top 3 all-time action movies list. I mean, you get super advanced special effects. I mean, it came out in 1991. The movie still holds up now. It looks like it could have came out yesterday. That's how advanced and smart James Cameron was with his special effects. We know throughout the years, Titanic, Avatar, he's always a pioneer with special effects. It really shows with how well Terminator 2 stands up, or holds up, I should say. I do think the movie gets kind of slow in the middle part of the movie. Like it's not as epic in the middle part to me. I mean, you are building character stuff, which is great for this film because when you get to that ending, John Connor and the Terminator have built such an emotional connection that the ending does actually leave you teary eyed, leaves you sad as hell. Like, your eyes will be watery at the end with what happens. But the opening sequences, I do wonder, like, was there a mystery going into the movie back in 1991 of like, hey, who's actually the bad guy, who's the good guy here? Or was that a surprise? Because the movie plays it like, hey, it's a surprise. Like when Arnold's walking down the hall towards John Connor and T-1000 is walking towards him, they're playing like, hey, the audience doesn't know at this point which one is there to kill him, which is there to protect him. But I don't know if that was a mystery going back in 1991 if the audience knew what it was. But either way, I mean, T-1000, Robert Patrick, what a great, amazing performance. One of the great all-time bad guys in action films. Arnold naturally slides into good guy Terminator role with ease. Look, it's an excellent action film with some amazing action sequences. It's not in my top 2 or 3 action movies of all time, in all honesty. It's in my top 10. But I think it's worth the praise it gets. It's an 8.6 on IMDb, and many people have it as their favorite action film of all time, and I understand that completely. But obviously, with my list, you can tell my number 2. I actually think the original Terminator for me is better than Terminator 2. Now, this might be the original Terminator being more slanting towards horror and sci-fi. Uh, is Terminator a horror film? I mean, it has horror elements. Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator feels like a damn slasher the way he's going through killing people early on. He feels like just a robotic slasher. And those nighttime dream sequences, there's some great chase scenes that feel slasher-esque. So there's kind of a horror element to Terminator that I appreciate, but also has an amazing love story with Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor. The man went back in time with no chance to come back. Not the mission that I'd volunteer for, but he did all for his love for Sarah Connor. So there's like a love story element that's fantastic. It's a great standalone story. I mean, Terminator 2 changes things around a little bit, but Terminator 1 works as just a perfect, fully contained movie with an ending. The time loop, everything kind of goes on, but you didn't really need Terminator 2. I mean, it's fine. They came out. It's amazing, but Terminator works as a standalone film. Everything you need is right here in this film. So I've always had a bigger love for the original Terminator than I do for Terminator 2. And yeah, so that leaves number 1 on the list. And for me, I mean, when I'm doing an Arnold list, when I'm thinking of Arnold, there's no question for me. Number 1 is Predator. Predator to me is just, it's as perfect as a film can be. I mean, this movie to me has no real big flaws that stand out to me. The setup is perfect. The cast is perfect. The setting, the visuals, everything is perfect. It's not Last Action Hero meta in any way, but it is playing on the idea of, hey, we got these badass tough guys in the woods. You establish in the first half how badass, how tough they are. You got Carl Weathers, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jesse Ventura. But they become the hunted as a bigger threat starts to come after them. And that's like a fun setup. The only thing I would change about Predator, which I've said before, is that I would get rid of them showing the spaceship coming to Earth in the opening thing. Because, wow, this movie has a mystery if you don't know that's an alien, if you don't see that spaceship coming at the beginning, which I believe the director actually didn't want that in there. The studio forced that. But if you don't see that, then you have the entire first half being a complete mystery. Predator himself being a complete enigma, I think would have even made this even better. But as is, I mean, Predator is just, I think it's probably maybe my favorite action film of all time. I mean, Predator, Die Hard, it's hard to say my top action movie of all time, but if Predator isn't up there, then, I mean, like I said, for what it's trying to accomplish, I think it's just a perfectly well-made film. And shout out to those end credits. When you get the end credits where it's showing the cast sort of still in character, nodding to the audience, I love end credit sequences like that. Okay, so anyways, this has been my top 10 Arnold Schwarzenegger films. Again, in the comments, let me know your thoughts on Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Do you have a favorite? How would you rank them? And yeah, if you like this kind of video, I'll do more with different actors. I could definitely do a Stallone list, Bruce Willis. I mean, I love the 80s and 90s action stars for sure. So even Jason Statham has a lot of good movies. So, okay, well, until next time, you guys take care.